What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Brandon Trax Hyatt. We're coming to you live on a Monday night. Monsters of the Madhouse, brought to you by Bridges Scoreboard, your Northwest Indiana Chicago sports headquarters with a Hall of Fame menu and the coldest beer in Chicagoland. To prep for your next Chicago sports night, visit us at Bridges Scoreboard or call 219-924-2206. How we doing, fellas? How we doing, Brandon? How we doing, Darius?
All is well, baby. All
Cool,
good, all
Brandon.
good. Cannot
How you
complain.
feeling?
Good, man. I like that new on air that you got there. I think it was turned the other way, maybe like a mirror or something, but it looks good, man. You're looking slick over there, Darius. You're all cropped up, ready to go. Tonight's show is about the three possible trade bait. We'll call it trade bait tonight. Basically, we got Nate Davis, Dominic Robinson, and Khalil Herbert. Out of those, Brandon, out of those three names, which guy would you? I know you're going to say Nate, but which guy do you want to see us keep?
Keep? I would say nice. You got me. I would say Khalil Herbert. Just DeAndre Swift's not infamously known for playing entire seasons his entire career, and it's good to have insurance at that position. It is a very often injured position, the running back in the NFL. They do have Roshan Johnson, but the Bears hang their hat on being able to kind of spell two backs. That's what they've done for
Bears hang their hat on being able
3
to
or
kind
4
of.
years.
Yeah,
So
I think I agree with you too. I would like to see Khalil. Darius and I, we talked about this discount that we've been getting from Khalil Herbert. He's actually been born with an extra digit. He's got 6 fingers, and we've been paying for 5 this whole time. So I'd like to keep that discount going, boys. What about you, Darius? Who do you want to see, bro?
I have to agree, Herbert. Herbert's been my guy since the beginning of the year. I've been really rooting for him to get some time. But you can't really argue with the production we're getting from Swift and Johnson. Surprising to me. The production that those guys are giving is kind of hard for. If Khalil does get time, it's hard for him to get lathered up and really be able to show what he can do. Because those guys in front of him have pretty good rhythm. But yeah, Khalil's my choice. The other guys, they're pretty much non-factors. Even if someone gets hurt on the offensive line, I sincerely doubt we'll be reaching out to Davis to put on the helmet to get back in. I honestly think unless something catastrophic happens, I truly believe he's done for the year. And
You believe who's done? Wait, who do you believe is done for the year?
Nate Davis.
Oh, you really think he's done for the year?
Yeah, I don't think he gets back in there, man.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
Wait. You guys are talking about he got benched, not injured, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're not talking about from an injury standpoint. We're just talking about from a team and a production standpoint. I think it's a wrap for him. Hopefully we can get some for him in the trade market, but I sincerely doubt it. These people in the league, they talk, man. And he's built a reputation even before Ryan Poles decided to give him a chance to come here. He's built a reputation, and not too many people really like his habits. So it's going to be kind of hard for him, hard for us to come up off of him.
Yeah, I guess if he was really good, he would have stayed in Tennessee where they could use his help, right, boys? But yeah, he's been a disappointment here, and I was really hoping that we could have got something out of him, and we really needed that, and counting on that is probably part of one of the reasons, Brandon, that we didn't draft more, because we're all counting on Tevin, or I should say the Bears staff was counting on Tevin and Nate to be in there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And plus 4 picks is all we had. Right. So, I mean, it's.
And I'll say this, man,
Yeah.
regarding the Bears trenches before the season started, you were talking about a whole lot of ifs on both sides of the football.
Yes, sir.
And I will say this, on the defensive side, after they traded for Daryl Taylor, Jervon Dexter, so it was like if the Bears get another guy across from Sweat, they did go make some moves. They did get Daryl Taylor. Walker's actually been serviceable, not really so much in pass rush, but just in general. But the ifs on the defense kind of occurred, right? They kind of played out. Like if Jervon Dexter takes the next step, he has. If there's pressure other than Sweat, there has been. So the ifs on offense, the good thing I can say is Darius is 100% right. Nate Davis will never touch the field again. He shouldn't. I mean, and I think Nate Davis prevented a lot of the ifs for the first two games of the season. Because I was thinking, like, if Braxton Jones can make a next step, if Coleman Shelton can just hold up, if you know, if Darnell Wright starts playing better, because in the first 2 weeks he was terrible. So the ifs, Nate Davis was so bad, none of the other ifs could occur. I truthfully believe that. As soon as Nate Davis was replaced, Tevin Jenkins became that dude. Darnell Wright became that dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Braxton Jones has now gone like 182 snaps or something without a sack allowed. I don't know what it is, but like Nate Davis took something away from every single player on that line. And now all the ifs on the offensive line are slowly starting to kind of, I don't know, like happen. So like I think the Bears offensive line is much better without Nate Davis ever touching the field, like Darius said, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you just cannot, no matter Ryan Bates is back now, guys.
Yeah.
He's back from IR. You cannot let Nate Davis touch the field.
No, the only way that would happen is if people were injured, which
Catastrophic, man. Like you know how
Yeah.
many bodies got to drop for him to get back into this lineup, bro.
Mhm.
It has to be something of for him to get back out there, it has to be desperate times. You know what I'm saying? Because bringing him back out there is definitely a desperate measure that is a detriment to this team. You
Yeah,
know?
Well, and right now they're actually
Bates and
better
Murray.
off. They're actually better off not doing that if they're trying to ship him out because his stock's actually going to diminish. But getting back to the by committee, blocking and whatnot, and injuries and people getting banged up. I mean, I would have never thought that we had as many injuries as we did, and now we're using undrafted guys, to block and whatnot at guard, and our center is looking a lot better than he did in the first few weeks, where he just fell down when So there's a lot of changes there.
He was playing right next to Nate Davis for those first couple of weeks, and that's what I'm saying. I think that guy was a cancer to that entire line.
Oh yeah, we all know we're circling the problem
Yeah.
left and right. We're not a fan of Nate Davis. I'm just saying that it is possible that he does crack the roster and get some minutes if he gets stuck on our team and we don't ship him out. It is a possibility. Never say never, because never always happens. I mean, you were a big fan of Dexter, and you wanted a 3 technique, and now all of a sudden you're singing praises of Dexter. So I mean, anything can happen any given Sunday,
Yeah, let's not misconstrue this, right? We understand that we can't lay this all on one guy, but you Trax, you've been you are an offensive lineman, right? You
Yep.
are. That's who you are. So you understand the concept of continuity. You know what I mean? And
I've been banged up before.
Right,
I've been banged up before, and I've been wore out to the point where I actually had to get some time off the field, get a breather, and then get back out there, but without that, I was just a shell of myself. And we are now getting into, I just read today that we have the toughest schedule in the NFL from here on out. So with all that being said, we've had the lightest. So obviously our blocks that we've had the last few weeks are going to look better. But as we get into the toughest schedule in the NFL, our guys are going to have to step it up. And if they don't, they'll be looking for solutions within our own ranks, and that might be where this craziness happens, where they pull from within. If they don't have somebody, they might go back to him and say, well, maybe he's got it figured. Oh, nope, he ain't got it figured out, you know. So
Well,
I would like for them to go ahead and trade him off. I don't know what exactly you get for him. Does anybody remember what team? There was a team that was floating around that they actually took interest in Nate Davis most recently, you know.
Well, the Colts lost their starting right guard
Was
Friday for the year.
It might have been the Colts, bro. It really might have been the Colts, and maybe that's why I've laid claim and notice to it, because that's local, and that would make sense for sure. Hey, man, we'll take anything for that guy at this point. The only problem is if you offload him and trade him right now, you're going to get there's a lot of dead cap on him. Next year is a lot less, but this year, you know, and the way there's a joke that people have used to say, and I think they still say, that the McCaskies look at nickels the size of manhole covers. So, I mean, as far as being cheap, you know, so that's the only reason why I think this dude is on the team, bro. And I don't know why Velus is on, but we're gonna try to stay focused on this three-man you know, guys potentially that could be traded off or whatever. I mean, Dominic Robinson, there's really not a whole lot there. That's a reclamation. What did we say? Over 400 snaps and only a few hurries and 1.5 sacks since 2022. I mean, maybe somebody looks at him and is like, he's got the right size, he's got the right speed. The Bears just aren't using him right. Well, hopefully, you know, that might trade him off. But I think out of all of them, boys, the guy that we want the most is the guy that has the most value to be traded, and that's Khalil Herbert, Brandon. I really do. I mean, what do you say about that? I think the guy we want to keep is the guy that we probably, if we do want to trade for depth for offensive line, I mean, hey, let's take Khalil Herbert and Nate Davis together as a package and ship them off for a decent backup offensive lineman. What do you guys say about that, huh?
I think it's gonna be I think we stuck with these guys. Unfortunately, I truly believe we stuck with them.
Dan says he'll take a grilled cheese sandwich for the guy.
I honestly think we're stuck with these guys because the NFL knows that these guys are going to be given away. At some point, they're going to be released or waived at some point. And
Yeah.
you know, trade, like, depending on teams in that situation, these trade assets are very important. You know, and to just sit around and just, you know, trade for a guy that you know is going to be released anyway. Because let's be honest, are these guys truly difference makers? You know, are the addition of any one of these guys on a team, do they take the team that they go on to the next level? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they don't get traded. I mean, people get traded all the time and picked up left and right just as depth or
Are you talking about, Jerry, are you talking about the pieces that we have?
No, I'm talking about the guys we have in Khalil Herbert, Nate Davis, and
he's just saying in perspective, we're not going to get a lot for these guys because they're not worth a lot, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to get traded.
I think teams already know that these guys are pretty much gonna get released or waived by the end of the year. You know what I mean? So it's like, why do we have to give up our draft capital when we know these guys are gonna be free?
Well, and you make a good point, because maybe it's not a draft capital. I mean, we're talking about player for player potentially too, or 2 players for one, or one of our late draft picks with this guy coupled together. I mean, a trade can be anything. It doesn't have to be for a draft pick. And if you look at the Seahawks and their running backs that are going down and questionable all the time, or this or that, or all across the league, you got to have at least, Brandon, I mean, you do fantasy and all that, you got to have at least 2 or 3 good running backs on the team, or look at the Niners and the Ravens last year. They were in what, Brandon, like 4 or 5? And then look at the freaking look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They had to call Kareem Hunt. He was sitting on the freaking couch Like, hey, bro, you played with us, kick the dust off. We don't really have a running back right now. And so he ended up elevating his start. So, I mean, freaking anything's possible. I'd put that guy in before a guy that's sitting on the freaking couch to start, bro.
Right.
You know?
And in some points, and to that point, I kind of agree. But how easy would it have been for the Chiefs to call us about Khalil Herbert, knowing the relationship that Coles has with the Chiefs? How
Well, I
easy-
take
how
to
easy
that
would it have
point, I
been-
would take Hunt that knows the playbook, that's been in the structure. It
There
would
you
make
go.
sense.
There you go. That's why I say I think we kind of stuck with these guys. I mean, being stuck with Khalil Herbert is not a terrible thing.
No.
You know what I mean? But as long as we keep, Nate Davis as far as away from the field as possible, I don't think that's a terrible thing either.
Yeah.
But and as far as Robinson, I don't think teams are gonna be scurrying to make a deal for him. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, we as Bears fans, we're hopeful, right? Because if we can, in order for a trade to be executed, it takes two sides. You know what I'm saying? So if we can kind of nudge the other side to, agree to a trade with us for whatever, for a guy like Robinson, I think we'll all be happy people. But
Well, here's something. I don't want to put a hole in any of your theories, but I have to.
No. I don't feel that way.
There are Bears players that are doing really well, and Sam Mustipher, he's got himself a spot. Brandon, a couple Bears that are landed somewhere and are doing pretty good. I don't know what it is about them going off to other places. I mean, you were just talking the other day, when we were talking Sunday about starting Mooney as far as fantasy goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another man's chunk's another man's treasure. Somebody's looking at that tape showing Khalil Herbert showing out. And if I'm a trading guy, I'm sending you those tapes and I'm saying, we're so loaded. We've got so much. We've spent all this money on Swift. We've got this kid we just drafted a couple years ago. These are our 1-2 punches. We got a loaded backfield. What do you want for this guy? Or the phone's ringing because of that,
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing, Trax, for sure. Right there is anybody inquiring about any of these pieces?
Right.
That's because I'm not sure Ryan Poles at this juncture is calling people in regards to Herbert or Robinson or even Nate Davis. Nate Davis is the one guy I could see him calling like the Colts up and saying, "Hey, Nathan, do you need this? This guy started a lot of games." But it'd really be if somebody calling Poles up and asking about these guys. And I don't think that anyone is for Khalil Herbert or Dominique Robinson. They might get
So
some-
all the talk out there has just been rumors. It's not nothing solid, is what you're saying.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Khalil Herbert was looked at as a tradable piece during the offseason. Do you guys remember that? When they were kind of saying one of these running backs won't be on this team. I think Brad Biggs was the guy who reported first. One of these running backs won't make the roster.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Is like if Khalil
He hasn't
Herbert-
responded to my text. I already asked about this. I asked him before the show. I said, "Hey, man, can you give me a little something?" He didn't respond. So,
Yeah, he probably don't have nothing to give you.
if Khalil Herbert's traded, is Velus Jones the running back behind?
well,
these
at that
other two
point,
guys?
if I did get some info from him, I'd come on the show and I'd say my source says. I wouldn't
Right.
say, yeah. If and
I'm
when
wondering-
that did
I'm wondering,
happen.
Is Velus Jones the fourth running back on this team right now? Is that what happened?
If it is, I ain't seen him. Have you guys seen him take the field?
Nah, he looking like he be looking
But-
like me on the sideline.
But I do want to say this, guys. I believe any one of these pieces, any one of the three, and I'm not trying to disrespect Khalil Herbert because I think
Right.
that when he's played for the Bears, he's played well.
Yeah.
Any one of these pieces' return value is going to be a 6th or a 7th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get higher than that for even Khalil Herbert. I really don't think you are because it's not going to be in any kind of desperation. A team who's calling the Bears, and I personally believe there's some better options out there, like Jerome Ford, who's been starting for the Browns. Now you have Nick Chubb back. They signed down to Foreman, so he's available. Jerome Ford's available. I'm guessing if the Browns look like they're kind of purging their team. and he'd probably come at the same cost as Herbert. And what sucks for Herbert, man, and I've said this before, is when it comes to his trade value, it's not helping him sitting on the bench. Like
No.
the Bears aren't using him at all, and like not even a few plays a game.
He
And
plays special teams.
that's
All
gonna
these
hurt.
guys, all three guys we're talking about are not getting any time at all. So that's, I
Yeah.
think that might be why so many people, you guys are watching YouTube out there. You guys are watching Facebook. We're not the only jokers that are talking about these three guys
Right.
and something that's going to happen. And I also think it's in Ryan Poles' wheelhouse to flip the table and say anything could happen. I mean, honestly, Montez Sweat, I didn't even know about Montez Sweat, dude. I don't pay attention to Washington. I haven't paid attention to Washington in a long time. Like Mark Rippon and all them guys. That was back the real Mark Rippon, not the one that's was on our team before he got cut during,
His dad.
Yeah, his daddy. That's the Washington that I really paid attention to.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I really don't know.
I
have
think
no
what
idea,
kind of
bro.
another thing that may hurt Khalil Herbert, that he has an injury history. You know, if he plays long enough, soon enough, he's going to go down with an injury. And you know, that's another thing that teams know around the league, that hey, this guy can be productive for us, but for how long? If we give up a fourth, fifth,
Sean said Art
pick
Monk. Sorry, bro.
if
You threw a
we
name
give
out
up
there,
a
I
fourth,
knew. I
fifth
was like,
round
dude,
pick
he's
for
showing
him,
his age, bro.
yeah. If we give up a fourth or fifth round pick for him, will we have him for the remainder of the year, or will he go down and we have to stack him on top of the injury heap that we already have? You know what I mean? So I
Well,
mean,
and will he re-sign with whatever team it is, respectively? You know what I mean?
that's another thing too. So it's a lot of things just kind of working against those theories. You know,
But I
not to kind of crap on your sources, because you know what you bring us, we trust. You know what I'm saying? What we
No,
hear,
these aren't sources. This is just YouTube land. This is
yeah,
just,
yeah,
this
they're
is
the
not a
most.
source.
Yeah, they're the most. It makes the most sense because that's where the Bears
right?
can afford to lose somebody. But I will say
Yeah.
this, Trax: if Poles can trade Nate Davis, if not only will he, but he would once again, it would be another mark in his historical run as the
Bro.
general manager
And
of the
straight.
Chicago Bears. Because if you can get rid of that guy for even a 6 round pick, if you can get that guy off of your roster, you're just it's the cherry on top of the Panthers trade and the trade for Keenan Allen and the drafting of Torrey Taylor, when a lot of people, including myself, were questioning that. This guy is on a historic run right now, Ryan Poles, as a
That's
general
how we
manager.
felt about that receiver that we overpaid for, and we ended up trading him off and got him out of here, from Seattle. What
Oh,
was his name?
Chase Claypool.
Yeah, once we chased
Well,
Chase
yeah,
out of here.
yeah, no, and I'm not. Ryan Poles has made some grave mistakes. And he's young. He's a rookie GM. You know, he was.
Oh, but he got something for him. I mean,
Yeah,
he gave up more than he got, but he still got something for him, and he wrote his wrong. You know what I mean?
And he's
that's
been
what,
really good since that trade. He's done really pretty much everything that I've kind of expected out of a winning GM. Honestly,
yeah,
so he drafting of Caleb, the trading of Fields, and even the trading of Fields, he took less than he probably could have, just to
yeah.
make sure he went to a team like this guy is just. I mean, if this works out, guys, if Caleb Williams wins the Super Bowl with Chicago, you're going to be talking about Ryan Poles for the rest of your life, really, honestly.
bro.
Yeah,
I will
and I
talk
think
about him for the rest of my life if we go out and get what this guy Knowledge just said right here, bro. Teller, come on, we get Teller, dude. I will forever sing his freaking gospels. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you talking? Quit messing with me. Quit playing with my emotions, man. If we get Teller, I will go. I will not sleep at night, man. I will not sleep at night. That would be amazing. Could you
and
imagine him and Jenkins and freaking Wright on the same team, bro?
mhm. Hey, listen, if Ryan Poles manages to get any quality offensive line, man, no,
Inequality.
no. But seriously though, at this point of the year, right? If Ryan Poles can get any quality offensive lineman in here via trade, we can go on and get him the executive of the year right now.
I might already do it before that, but I will tell you this
we
much.
we can go ahead and give him GM of the year right now.
He's going.
Guys, can I tell you guys something really quickly? Up until now, when we've had a deficit at offensive line for so long, I guarantee you, if Brandon got on the freaking hot keys really quick, you will find that there are actually offensive linemen that do get traded before the trade deadline. We just don't know about it because they're not a damn skilled position. I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, us big uglies down in the front, we do not get talked about. We do not get talked about.
Well, when it comes
The
down
quality
to
ones do. Track.
Well,
The quality O linemen do.
what it
If
comes
any
down
quality
to
O
is
linemen are traded during this time of the year, that's a big story.
well, what's if
But I'm trying to tell you something. Somebody brought this up in Sunday's chat. We didn't touch on it, but I should have. It also has something to do with the fact, I think it might have been Amex, actually. It has something to do with the fact about getting draft capital for next year. So if they're looking at boys for next year and they can offload a guy and they're already heavy with 5 straight and they've got good starters and there's a guy sitting back behind him that's a veteran that's going to get a big payday next year, or you can offload his contract and you utilize him all the way up until, and you're saying, okay, let's see what this rookie is that we drafted. Let's see if he catches on fast enough so we can cut bait and save money next year on it and go cheap and go draft somebody else because this guy elevated. There's plenty to cook with, bro. And that's what Poles has got to look at.
well, it's really just desperate. I mean, when it comes down to trade, especially at the deadline, you're going to get one of two things: teams that think they're close enough to win a championship, whatever sport it is, and try to find the missing piece, or desperate teams with pursued players. You know what I mean? Like if you're the Browns and you're about to tank this thing, you're ready to just start from scratch. If your offensive linemen are your best pieces, if that's your trading bait.
Yeah.
These teams are hands tied. If
Here's a good
trading
example.
Wyatt Teller is what they have to do because that's what teams are looking for. A team
Exactly.
like the Browns have to make that trade. That's just
Okay,
Exactly.
but what do we give up for Teller?
Whatever we would have to do in a draft, because
his-
potentially in a draft, you might not get a Teller. A Teller's already ready. But I will tell you one thing about all this is that Brandon had a guy last year, and I already know who I'm talking about, for the Tennessee Titans. That center, you wanted him on our team really bad. He dropped off in the free agency.
Cushenberry.
Oh,
That's
Cushenberry.
Kyle
Why?
loves him.
I'm putting holes in you right now, pal. Why would he get dropped off? Why is he a free agent? There were other free agents too. Why didn't he stay retained? Why didn't he get traded? Why? And I'll tell you why. Because offensive linemen, after a certain period, after a few years, we all get banged up. We got the knees, we got the back, we got the hips, we got all these sort of injuries and stuff. Can we still play? Yes. But now you have to pay at a higher level because now we're veterans. So that is where you get to your reclamation projects. Not saying that they can't start. Heck, we called Jason Peters. He was fishing on a lake when we called him, and we ended up elevating him to starting left tackle. Didn't think he was that good, and he almost looked like robotic at sometimes, very slow, but he was the best we had, and he was a starter. So there's a lot of different.
That says a lot about where we were at that particular time.
Yeah, for sure.
It was rough. Hey, they don't bring back those memories, but I get your point though.
Yeah. Like Debbie said, it's all about the capital money. It that has a lot to do with it, man. A lot of people are trying to offload, and they don't know how good their rookies are going to do. If their rookies are holding their blocks and they look good into 7 weeks, man, it might be time to cut that veteran go and get myself a little draft capital for next year, because you might be looking at, and Brandon, what did you say is it interior lineman next year that's better off than the tackles? I think that's what the draft is heavy in next year.
It's just a strong draft for offensive line and defensive line in general.
But I'm saying somebody, maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was Sean.
I think there's more interior offensive line than tackles. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, maybe that's what Poles is looking at. Maybe he's just trying to put band-aids and this and that and say, okay, well, here we go. Let's just try to keep things until we go draft an interior or 2 interior linemen. I don't know. I'm not Poles. I'm just thinking hypothetically.
Oh, I
You
think
have to
he's.
look.
I think he's very much planning on fixing his holes through the draft. And a lot of people are speculating whether or not polls like, oh, if the Bears win the next 2 games, I think
Thanks,
they'll make
Knowledge.
a trade. They'll make a trade, or if they lose the next 2 games, they'll definitely make a trade. I think Poles is not. I think he's going to make a trade if the price is right, and
Yeah.
he's getting the better of somebody. That's what he. And he's just not going to be a guy who gets. I mean, after the Chase Claypool thing that you already before mentioned, Brandon, and just the second round picks in general, I thought even for the Roquan Smith deal, I thought he kind of got, and now he's just like I said, he's on a run for the last year, man, where he's not going to pay too much for anybody.
Well, Brandon, why did he look so good in Pittsburgh? Is that coach that good? Is Tomlin that good? Because I'm gonna tell you something. Did you guys hear that sound bite about when he got asked about the benching? He made it sound beautiful, man. There is no drama. There's no problem. I guarantee you, them 2 guys right there, them 2 guys, Fields and Russell, are still working it out together, and they're still all good. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Fields has done nothing but help himself for somewhere else down the road if he doesn't stay in Pittsburgh. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. If you give him the right coaching and you give him enough weapons, he has proven where he can be a starter in this league or a really damn good backup. And we all know there's a few guys out there, most notably Chase Daniels, who spent his whole freaking career as a backup and made some really good money. So I like what that whole thing what Tomlin's doing over there. I think that's beautifully executed. I was a little worried, and then here comes Russell out there, Russell the Love Muscle, throwing for 270 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He looked good, boys. He looked good.
Yeah, I mean his energy was infectious, and you could honestly tell the difference between him being under center and Justin.
And isn't that a better person for him to learn from than the Red Rifle? Not saying he didn't learn anything from the Red Rifle. He had to learn something from the Red Rifle. But my point is, with Russell being there and the way Russell is, Russell cooking, I think this is a match made in heaven, and I think this is actually a really good thing. And it goes back to what you 2 gentlemen said earlier about Ryan Poles, is the things that he does is just like next level. Like, we don't understand that shit. That and some people were pro Fields, not saying that I wasn't entirely on board with it, but you all know where my heart is for the USC legend. So it wasn't a matter that I didn't like Fields. It's just that a matter of, like, if you 2 gentlemen, whatever college is that you like, we'll just say Brandon likes Illinois and we'll say Darius likes Penn State. If your quarterback comes out of there and there's rumors that he's going to be drafted number 1 by your favorite Chicago Bears, why wouldn't you want that, right? I mean, like, it was Christmas morning for me the whole time, So
Yeah.
And in regards to that, Brandon, I mean, think about it. Justin Fields was on a 4-2 football team and just got benched.
Yeah.
I mean, how many quarterbacks? If you can remember all the way back to when you started watching football, how many quarterbacks got benched on a winning football team? Justin Fields, even in Mike Tomlin's eyes, whether it be in the future or today, I think Justin Fields is the QB of the Steelers for the future. I think next year he's their starting quarterback, but I personally believe that he is not a starting quarterback right now in Mike Tomlin's eyes, the same as he wasn't here. He's just not a starting quarterback. And guys, that offense averaged 20 points a game and scored 37 yesterday. So, like, I think, and I don't know, man. I don't even know. Do the Steelers end up buying this and paying this kid? I don't know that he's a starting quarterback on anyone's NFL roster. I really root for Fields.
Who's that, Fields?
Fields, yeah. I
don't think he's done yet. I think, do you look at guys like who's helped me out over there in Tampa right now? Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
I gave up on Baker a long time ago. but somewhere down the line, he ran into somebody that unlocked something or something happened. It was a 10-year project.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and now
saying.
he
Right
looks great.
now, I don't think Tomlin thinks he's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
No. And I'm not
Neither
saying
do
that.
I.
Well, you got Russell in the building, and I think this is the best place for Fields to be because of Russell being able to be them, and they have similar skill sets. You follow what I'm saying? I think this is a good thing for him, you know?
Yeah, I think Justin's never really had a chance to sit on the bench and learn from somebody, man. And when he did, though, from all things I read, he didn't take it very well. I don't think he likes
What's wrong,
trying to
Darius?
learn.
You look a little taken by this whole thing. What's going
No,
on,
no,
buddy?
no. I'm listening. I'm just waiting on the time when I get a chance to, get in there. But I'm listening.
Get in there, bro.
But
Get in there.
Yeah,
We want to hear
yeah,
what
let's
you
hear
have
it.
to say, bro.
I'm listening. I'm listening, and
No, let's hear it, Darius.
I think
Yeah, you're good.
I think Justin Fields is Tyrod Taylor for the rest
Okay.
of his career. I think that's what it ends up being. Mainly because the issue with Justin is not his ability. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is his consistency,
And his
you know,
mentality.
and his lack of processing, being a quarterback. Like his processing is bad. It's been bad it was bad when we drafted him,
Yeah.
and it was bad when he left here. But as far as him being able to run and pass, that's all there. He has that.
Yeah.
But he'll never be consistent enough I think. I don't think he'll ever be consistent enough to be a full-time starter for a team.
And that take right there, fellas, was brought to you by TC's World of Wonders. And they're your headquarters for all your dream Chicago sports jersey and memorabilia. Check out Tom's line of gear and collectibles at tcsworldofwonders.com or get in touch with us, and we'll put you on with some really good jerseys, some flags, really nice blanket that Brandon's got back there, all that good stuff, hats, jackets, all that stuff, man. He's got it, man. Check out Tom, man. Good dude. No, man, I agree with you. I just hope that he can unlock. I wish everybody does good. I like Justin. I like how he held his head here. He was a good dude. And I hope that Russell can help unlock some stuff, and some tutelage from Mike Tomlin will go a long way. If you can't learn something and grow with those two guys in the building, I don't know what to tell you, man. And the way that Arthur, what's his name?
Smith.
Smith, thank you, bro. Thank you. Arthur Smith, I think what he's got going over there. It started off a little rough, boys, but I'll tell you what, he's actually got something over there. I think they're actually going to be good, and it's been a while. It's been since Roethlisberger since they've actually put something like this together. They're looking good. The Browns are taking a step back. The Bengals are taking a step back. This is right now, and I don't know what's going on. Does anybody know what's going on at the Ravens game tonight?
They're winning right now 17-10, I think.
Oh, God.
They were
I hope
struggling last time I saw it, they were struggling.
I hope Lamar the
20 to
superstar
10.
doesn't go off because I'm going against him in fantasy.
But I think Mike Evans went down with a hammy.
Oh, gosh. I got him on there, too, in my fantasy.
Yeah.
Well,
Mike
for
Evans.
Underdog Fantasy, everybody, here's another shameful plug. Another sponsor we got, Underdog Fantasy. Enter the promo code CSP. Get your first $1,000 matched and your second $1,000 up to 50% of that. They got a lot of good stuff. CSP is a promo code. We've all cooked and made some good money on there and had a lot of fun. Darius and I, Sean Lugo, we've all had a couple other guys too, but oh man, we're having a good time on there. I got some stuff right there tonight that I'm looking at. Hopefully I can pull out, a little bit of cash over there. So, but yeah, I'm against Lamar the superstar. I got to keep his yards low, bro. So,
Yeah.
man, special shout out in the chat real quick, fellas. This guy, a Knowledge Untamed. I need to get him on a show with you, Brandon. This guy is really putting out some numbers, especially this college stuff, man. Maybe next Monday or a few Mondays later on down the road. He was talking about offensive linemen and who's available for next year. And yeah, man, he's got everybody in the chat's got a lot of stuff going on, man. This chat is popping.
His knowledge is untamed.
His knowledge is untamed, bro. You set him up. Yeah, Don Burr's in here talking his freaking Detroit line crap. Ant Mass, Brew, they all came from seeing you guys. Moody, they were there at 4-Star. I popped in there for a while. You guys had a good show going on.
What's going
Got
on?
the old swivel chair action with freaking Dustin in there like this, man, like he's watching a ping pong match. He likes that swivel chair. You guys were cutting it up, man. It was a good show, man. It was a really good show. So yeah, next I want to talk to you guys about is this. How crazy is it that we have an actual good offensive product? Our defense came back, I believe, better than ever. We got this amazing punter that can kick like the full size of the football field anytime he wants. And it's like he's got a drone connected to that ball and put it whatever the heck he wants. And now, like, you think all these guys that go down with the Minnesota Vikings, including their starting quarterback, and they lost their Kirk Cousins to Atlanta, like, I thought they'd be the back of the pack. But they barely lost yesterday, and the Lions barely squeaked it out. Green Bay, I said, okay, 1 minute, 11 seconds left. They kick a field goal. Now Green Bay's got the ball. Everybody at the sports bar at Bridges Scoreboard, they were all like, they don't have Rodgers, man. It's done. It's over. They went back down the field, drove and kicked the field goal and won the game, man. Well, how is this fair? How is this fair that we finally got a shot to take the North and never give it back, and we might not this year? What do you say about that, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, we knew the Bears were in a good division. They had two teams who made the playoffs last year. And then the Vikings as well showed signs to me that they were going to be a playoff team with Kevin O'Connell as their coach. Josh Dobbs won a few games for this team after Cousins left. I didn't really think McCarthy was going to be the starting quarterback until maybe his second game of the preseason. Or was it his first? I don't know. But the one he tore his knee in. But yeah, this is the best division in football, guys, and historically, like by far. And I don't think it's going to change. So if the Bears have a chance of taking the North back, they're going to have to be really, really good, and we're going to have to play clean football, because I think right now in the NFC, the Lions are the best team, and the Packers are the second, right behind them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this Vikings team does kind of. It's so hard to say this, man, because they're just Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores is just an obviously perfect coaching match. But I do think that Minnesota kind of hits a wall when they start playing their divisional games as well. They have beat the Packers once, though.
No, I you know what? But here's the deal. This is what I want to say to you. There is some glimmers of hope there with the Minnesota starting to show what they are. At the very end of the game, right? We're watching them. Well, not at the very end, Brandon, but through the third and fourth quarter, Darius, it was catastrophic. They gave up like 3 or 4 touchdowns. That defense did. Minnesota. I said, this is a defense that I know. They gave up too many players, too much of a turnover. There's no way they could keep up with it. Now they're actually playing within our division instead of playing, teams that aren't really that good, whatever. So they gave that up. And then they spiked the ball. At first, I thought that was something that Sam Darnold does, because we all know, and you look at his QBR, it was like 46% or something. The reciprocal of that was like almost 90% with the other quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and that guy right there, when they traded Stafford away, I says, that's freaking suicide. Why would you do that? But this Goff is, man, his accuracy is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the league as good as far as accuracy, Brandon. I mean, through the last 3 weeks, just the whole season in general, but the last 3 weeks have been really, really good. So, that's a lot to unpack there, guys. So what do you guys say about all that,
Well, remember what we spoke about on Sunday when we talked about that matchup between Detroit and Minnesota. Yeah. I made mention that Minnesota has taken advantage of the situation, with this blitzing style of defense. They've taken advantage of that to the fact that it puts offenses that's not prepared, that puts offenses in the bad situations, which causes interceptions or fumbles that puts their offense into scoring positions. But I also said that I didn't think that the style of defense that Minnesota's playing is sustainable because the more experienced quarterbacks will eventually pick up on these blitzes, and these offensive minded coaches will catch up to, the deceptions that they have, because as a defense you're only going to have so many, what I'm saying, so many plays you can run to the point where you're really fooling the OC and the quarterback.
Yeah.
We can say a whole lot about Jared Goff, but he is experienced, and he's a heck of a quarterback against the blitz.
Yeah, he gets rid of the ball quick.
He gets rid of the ball quick, and
I'll say this, guys. After I watched this weekend, it scares you, right? I mean, Detroit is the team you thought they were going to be. Minnesota's better than you thought they were, even after a loss. That loss is what kind of proved to me Minnesota is a really good football team because they barely lost. And the Packers are who we thought they were going to be as well. The Packers are going to be either head and head with the Lions or one step behind them, but they're still going to be a good football team. I believe the Bears have the best unit in this division in their defense. Detroit's offense is really good. I know they're one of the top in the league, but I think the Bears' defense is the difference maker. All these teams are able to shoot the ball out with you. They're able to, these teams score on a high caliber. Their offenses are really good. And the Green Bay, Detroit, and Minnesota, all teams that can score the ball on you. But the Bears' specialty or their forte is just not, pun intended, I guess, is just not letting teams score the ball.
yeah,
12 games in a row with 21 points or less. So if the Bears are going to beat these football teams, all three of these teams, it's going to be these defense stopping these high caliber offenses in the NFC North.
And number one in tackling too. They're like 5.8%. Like that's the only they give up is like 5.8%. It's like the best in the NFL. So like their tackling is dialed in. They're very disciplined. But I will get back really quick to that Lions game, or no, the Minnesota. So Minnesota actually could have won, because what I didn't realize, I thought it was something that Darnold messed up when he spiked the ball. I guess Rainford. The coach called for Rainford because they didn't have the proper men on the field, and that's where they had the 5 yards. So it was a matter of 68 versus a matter of 63. They said the kicker could still make 68. He's done before, but that's a big difference. At 5 yards really makes a big difference. So Minnesota could have actually won that game, even though they gave up like 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns in the third, fourth quarter. So you give up that much in a half, and you're asking for trouble, especially the second half, because that's the momentum that you want to keep in that second half. You want to do good in the first half, but you really don't want to let it get away from you in the second half, because that momentum in the end could bite you in the butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I went out on a limb to say that this time next month, the Bears will either be tied or ahead, be in first place in the division. They'll either have it outright or be tied for it. I just feel like watching Minnesota play Green Bay and Detroit, those games are very similar, but
Yes.
but what Green Bay and Detroit lacks that we have, like Brandon mentioned, is a top defense. I
Yeah.
don't think Detroit or Green Bay has a defensive squad that we have. So being in a shootout with those guys, I don't think we're going to get there with that. Not saying that we're going to come in there and dominate them. I mean, because if Minnesota starts early, the way their style of defense, if you're not prepared, it's hard to come back from.
No, but Darius, I am ready to say our defense dominates people. I'm ready to
Yeah.
say, like,
Yeah.
it's. I thought this. I thought to myself last year, towards the end of last year, heading into this year, it's not sustainable what this Bears defense is doing, taking the ball away 3 times a game here. Like, I did not think this was something that was, but I don't care if it's the Packers or the Panthers or the Jaguars or the Lions. I'm a believer in this Bears defense. I think
Yeah,
they're going
because
to.
all 3 of their quarterbacks, regardless of the good fortunes they're having, they all have tendencies to give away the football.
And I'll tell you one tendency that we need to exploit, and I'm not talking about going in on some, targeting or something like that, or headhunting, like who's the coach for the Saints that went to
Williams.
Denver? What's that?
Greg Williams, I think.
Yeah.
No, the head coach, Sean Payton.
Sean
Payton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying any of that crazy stuff, but football's football, boys. I'm not saying target him or whatever, but if his ribs are hurt and he has a hard time throwing the ball and he's got to go back into the tent, you're going to go after Jay Daniels, because here's the deal. That's what the 85 Bears did the best. Anytime you guys boys know that we have Doug Plank on here, or we have what's his name, the other one, the other safety, Gary Fensick. Them boys, they had bets against each other as to who was gonna, and they weren't looking at taking the second string quarterback out. They wanted to get to the third string quarterback. And if Jay Daniels, if his freaking ribs are hurting, you got to go after that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, he ain't gonna be running like a deer at all, man. He's gonna be guarded. He's got to protect that stuff, and quite honestly, I think he's gonna be sitting in the pocket a whole lot more. And I'll be honest. When I looked at the physicality, and I watched a lot of ball from Lamar when he was down there in Louisville, I said, that boy's got to get some meat on them legs, especially down in the calves and all this stuff. He's too small for the NFL. He's built himself up a little bit. But I will say this, Jaden Daniels looked smaller than Lamar when he came in from Louisville, and that concerns me. And we're already looking into 7 weeks, and he's starting to learn right now that them ribs, they said they actually need to do some work, some treatment on it, and they still think that he may or may not make it for this week's game. Now, Marcus Mariota, as a backup, he does good in a backup role, but when they game plan for Marcus Mariota to start, Eminem, he does not look good. He does not look good at all. So I think we got a good chance at beating Washington, man, for sure.
Look, as a guy that's watched every Washington game this season,
yeah,
I think the key to beating the Jaden Daniels
is go after them ribs.
Well, not only that, but you have to allow him to be a quarterback, meaning that you have to keep him in the pocket, number one, and number two, you have to force him to throw that ball deep. Because with the offense they're running over there with Kingsbury, it's a lot of dink and dunk down the field, and it's
air raid. They like to air it out.
It's getting those guys in space, allowing, and if you don't tackle well, it's allowing them to turn an 8-yard pass to a 60-yard touchdown. And if you just bring 4 and keep a spy on Jaden Daniels, you will beat him. The Giants played him perfectly. They just didn't have a field goal kicker. Their field goal kicker got hurt, and they could not, when it was time for them to kick a field goal to get extra points, they couldn't do it. They had to either go for 2 or go for it on 4th down. That's how they lost that game.
To me, man, it's the secondary. I think here's the thing, guys. Jaden Daniels has been really, really, really good. Really good. So
yeah.
I don't like saying make him pass from the pocket, because the guy's throwing an 80% completion rate right now.
Well,
so I don't want this guy. What's that, Darius?
Not to cut you off, I say that because he's throwing 80% because the majority of the passes are 5-6 yard passes. Every now and then he'll throw one for 12 or 15.
Oh, if you've watched a lot of Washington games, that is not true.
That's definitely the truth.
I've not heard you look at his average deep balls. The one thing is the air raid. When he coached, when Kingsbury coached in all 3 of Texas colleges, and especially with USC, he likes to air it out, man. It's called the air raid for a reason. It's
because
not a West Coast
deep.
He throws a really good deep ball.
It's not a lot of deep balls now. Because he dinks and dunks a lot, he has opportunities to make the deep ball. I'm not saying he's not throwing any, but the majority of his passes,
good deep ball.
The majority, no, I'm not saying he doesn't.
No, I know, Darius. I feel you.
The majority of his passes are short passes, and the teams that they're playing, they're missing tackles that allow for big gains. He has a lot less success throwing the deep ball than he would be on the defense if he's allowed to dink and
Well,
dunk and work himself down the field. That's why he gets in trouble when the field gets short and he's in the red zone. He makes a lot of mistakes in the red zone. If y'all really check him out.
I think the Bears just need to. The Bears in this game, man, you just need to get to him. That's the thing. And I don't mean like every play needs to be a sack. I mean like you need to be, you need to see defensive ends, arms stretching out, trying to hit that ball out. Like you need him to feel pressured because first off, it's a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Rookie quarterbacks under pressure. I mean, he's been good, but the more you bring it, the worse the more opportunity they have to make mistakes. But second, man, he's been good in the pocket and he's been good running the ball. So you don't want to give this guy an opportunity to do either, really. You really just want to. I think the Bears secondary is good enough, guys, to give a second or two more in coverage than every other secondary in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think that gives this defensive front a little bit more time to get home. And this offensive line right now, guys, on the Washington Commanders is ranked 27th, or that's what it was before this week.
Mhm.
So Montez Sweat and Jervon Dexter and Daryl Taylor and DeMarcus, these guys need to get after this guy, and they
And they
need
have
to
to
make
tackle.
sure they need to make sure they get home.
They have to tackle because if they
Yeah.
if they
'Cause he'll
miss,
take off. Yeah,
and he's made a lot of teams pay with getting out that pocket and making big gains. So we have to get home. If we get home, we have to make sure we tackle him, man. We have to make sure you tackle him. And like I understand the numbers, man, but I watched these games, man. I watched them. I watched every last one of them from game
67.1 completion rate on
Yeah.
deep passes. And he's got a 55-yarder, a 60-yarder, a 40-yarder, a 63-yarder. There's a whole list on it right here, man. I'm looking right at it.
yeah.
watched-
He throws the deep ball pretty immaculately.
He's played.
Yeah, he's freaking amazing. And that's why I'm saying, going back to what I said earlier, go after them ribs, because if he gets hit one part in that soft spot, he is not going to want to throw deep.
Well,
He's going to want to dink and dunk.
And I don't think anybody's
I
intentionally
agree
trying to
with
injure
Moody.
anybody, but the Bears have this season. If you guys, I mean, I'm not going to start. It's a long list. I could give you a few names. Like the Bears have injured a lot of players this year. I'm not saying that's what they're going to try to do to Jaden Daniels, but we've all been concerned about Jaden Daniels' durability since before the draft, right? This is a team,
Yeah.
This is a team that might make you leave a game. That's the way this Bears defense has been playing, man.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, if a guy catches an 8-yard pass and runs it for 52 yards, that's a 60-yard touchdown, right? That's
Yeah,
a lot that's a lot that's been going on with the Washington Commanders. It's not like he's just really airing that thing out. He's making good passes in between the 8 and 15-yard variety. These guys are missing tackles, and these guys are taking it to the house.
But he's had a handful of really good deep touchdowns, man.
No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
His
Oh,
big
yeah.
for Darius,
But
his
the
big
success rate,
playability is what frightens me.
Matter of fact, I heard Jim Miller and Pat talk about this 3 days ago. 3 days ago, they were talking about this on XM radio, and they got 20 million listeners, the largest of all of NFL. And that guy's a freaking quarterback or was a quarterback in the NFL. And he was talking about them deep balls that he was throwing, not the short dink and dunks that are yards after catch. He knows the difference between those two. But I've watched it, man, and he just says he actually believes. This is what he believes. He goes, there's such thing as two good quarterbacks in a draft. And he goes, if he had to choose it over again, because hindsight's 2020, he'd go Jaden Daniels. That's what he would do. That's his belief. That's what he feels. That's fine. But I would go with Caleb because I'm a Caleb fanatic, you know.
Darius, you're right too. You're right in saying that. I mean, the guy throws, the mid-level passes, the dink and dunks, if you will. He throws those effectively because he's throwing. Brandon just said, which by the way, guys, 67% completion on deep balls. That is outrageously good. That's an outrageously high number. But his completion percentage overall is 80, which means that the dink and dunk passes raise his average from 67. So you're right. He's doing that stuff as well. That's why this guy scares me, man. He's doing just about everything a rookie quarterback could possibly do well. You know what I mean? Like you expect some sort of limitation in a player's game. He's throwing the deep ball well. He's getting rid of the ball quick. He does have some weakness. There's things that can be exploited. He throws to the right side of the field, like I think it's just under 70% of the time.
Yeah,
or
it's a
something
lot.
like that. He
Yeah.
also throws to his very first read 77% of the time. He's fifth in the league.
Wow.
But if
So,
that read is not
what
there, he's
Trax
gone.
was just saying, the difference in these two, and Darius, you've said this as well. You're on record for this.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb has better long-term traits in an NFL quarterback than Jaden Daniels. He's making reads, he's making progressions. He knows when he needs to get rid of the ball quickly, and he knows when he has time to pass. He's got pocket awareness. He's just doing things. He's calling plays at the line. He's changing plays based on coverage and pressure. You're not going to see Jaden Daniels doing that stuff. So yeah, we took the right guy. Guys, no matter whose season is better statistically, we took the right guy. And I'll tell you this will not be the last injury Jaden Daniels suffers.
Nope.
No.
And that's another
Yeah, he's
reason why,
like I said earlier about 10, 15 minutes ago when we first got started with all this. I mean, he's just really lighter than Lamar when he came in
Yeah,
from college.
he's like 205, isn't he, or something like that? And he's 6'4".
Yeah, he's a thin guy. He's always been a thin guy.
Yeah.
Like I remember him at Arizona State. He was ridiculously thin, but his arm is nice. I don't have no reservations about that. He
No,
has a
and
nice arm.
there's nothing to dislike about this guy as a rookie.
He has great
quarterback.
speed.
Yeah.
You know, when he gets
It's okay to have two really good quarterbacks that came in the
Yeah.
same draft and one
It's
of them
great.
not be yours. You know,
It's great. The more the merrier. If Drake May is good, if McCarthy's good, if Penix is good, I hope this draft
I
class
hate
is
he's
the
injured.
greatest we've ever seen.
I really
But-
hate he's injured. I hope he plays Sunday. I hope he plays
Jaden?
Sunday. I hope he's healthy, and I hope he plays Sunday.
Well,
Because
I do think this, and Darius, I've said this before with you. This defense will be the toughest thing Jaden Daniels has seen so far,
oh yeah,
and probably sees this season. So
Yeah.
if there's a time for a player to be a rookie, it's against the Bears defense. And I said this before the season started, guys. They play so many young quarterbacks. They've already played like 4. You have C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Now you're playing.
Daniels, we
Who
got
else? Bryce Young was out, so you didn't play Bryce Young. Yeah, now you're playing Daniels. Then you've got Drake May after that. I mean, this Bears defense needs to take advantage of the fact that they're playing quarterbacks that have a combined experience of like 3 seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
The
well, hey,
important-
look at what they did. Look what they did in training camp with Caleb. I mean, that's a good thing that Caleb's went against the toughest defense in the NFL during practices. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you what, if Caleb would have carved all that up and carved up our defense coming in as a rookie, I'd be worried about our defense. I'm glad our defense freaking cooked against Caleb.
It's
You know what I
great.
mean?
It's a great marriage. Yeah, and you know what,
Yeah.
Trax? The one thing, again, Caleb, man, is young as well as all the guys that I just named. So what I said before the season started, and I still believe this is probably the key to the Bears being a playoff team. Caleb needs to play better than every one of these young quarterbacks that he's going to play. I thought he played better than Anthony Richardson. The Bears still lost, so that's a shame. C.J. Stroud played better than him, not unexpected. But moving forward, I mean, with guys like Daniels this week and May the next, these are the guys that Caleb needs to beat. He needs to be better than these guys that are rookies and sophomores in this league.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing about that is he has to be consistent. But the great part about our defense and our special teams, the way it's set up is he doesn't have to be driving the bus all the time. He just doesn't have to get out and poke holes in all the tires and make us not stay on the road. He just has to execute and just do his job and just be a game manager. Every once in a while, he might have to put that cape on, but he ain't going to have to put that cape on as much as Justin did. There's no way. There's no way, no how. This is the way this team is set up. And I will say this, and I've said it before. Houston Texans didn't do nearly as good of a job setting C.J. Stroud up as Caleb did as a rookie coming right off the rip. Our team looks far and apart, head over shoulders, way better than Houston did when they first came in here. But I am interested about Washington and their offense. I didn't think they would be this good, boys. I really didn't do. I mean, the McLaren, whatever, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was this good. And, I mean, seriously, this team looks a lot better than I thought it did offensively, either that or freaking Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels are making them receivers look a lot better than they are. Maybe it's both. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you, man, the guy that's making this Washington offense go is Brian Robinson.
Robinson?
Yes, sir.
You mean Bijan?
No. Brian Robinson.
Brian, the guy who got shot last
The
year.
guy that
before
got
he died.
shot. He is making this Washington offense go because he's a heck of a running back, man. He's a heck of a back, big strong kid. He got a little speed on him too, but he's definitely making this thing run. It's all a lot of it is ran through him. We see a lot of the things, we see a lot of the passes that Daniels make, and effective. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Absolutely,
Aunt Mass.
all of that.
Sweat's
But-
revenge game. I love it.
But
I love it.
this kid, Brian Robinson, we have to make sure we tackle. Because if we don't tackle properly, he's going to break it.
Yeah,
We have
and
that big
Preston.
boy back in the nose tackle position from the Raiders. What was his name?
Who, Billings?
Yeah, Billings. Is he back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Well,
should.
him and
Yeah, because our run defense looks phenomenal with him, and way better when he's in there. It's a huge difference.
Austin Eckler is a running back you got to worry about too. For sure.
Yeah, he's a killer. He's a killer in the pass game. Austin Eckler.
He's good at receiving. Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
sir. But
Yeah,
the guy
got
that
him on the
Hey,
bench.
Brandon, this game is also, it's not just Sweat's return. It's Caleb's homecoming.
Yep,
Oh, nice.
Caleb's
Yep.
going to where he grew up.
he's a DC
Wow.
kid. That's for sure.
That's
Yep.
bar right there. I'm keeping that one. We're gonna clip that one right there.
Keenan Allen is as well.
I think these
Yep.
are the kind of games Caleb shows out for. I said this before the London game. Remember, Darius?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said those London games have kind of a college feel. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
a neutral
Yeah.
audience that just
Yeah.
wants to watch winning football and big plays. So Caleb thrives off that culture, man, that kind of environment. And I think a game like this one where he's going back, where he's going to have a lot of support for sure in this DC area. He's going to have friends there. He's going to have families, neighbors. You know what I mean? He's going to
Yeah.
have his people there. He's going to want to be the best Caleb he can be. And I think this Washington secondary, man, is just as
Oh.
exploitable as anybody he's played this year. So
That defense, period, man. Ooh.
Yeah. The Caleb's going to have his way with this team for sure.
Guys,
And
I
then-
will tell you one thing too, and I don't want anyone out there to think, because if anyone else has played football like I have, and I had an injury or something, even not an injury, I'll tell you something silly somebody did and messed with my head the whole entire game. I was down on a scrum. I got I didn't catch. I got 3 fumble recovers in one game. Totally unheard of for a left tackle. the last one that I got, the nose tackle went and he grabbed my sock and he ripped it all the way up to my knee. The whole game I was messing with that freaking sock, and it got in my head because it was flopped down and I couldn't keep it up because he stretched it all the way out. And at the end of the game, I went up to him and I says, "Now I know what you did." I'm telling you, any sort of advantage that you have on anybody, man, they go after it. So it's okay. This is football. They are going to go after his freaking ribs. It's just like a boxer. When you see a guy's face start bleeding, you're not, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to go in after the body blows. I'm going to leave your face alone, okay?" No, they're going to go after Jaden Daniels, especially Sweat, man. They're going to knock this kid out.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys with DC. It's a couple of guys on the team with DC ties because DJ went to Maryland.
Yeah.
Keenan's from DC.
Yeah, and in regards to what you said, the one thing that I feel will help Jaden Daniels play on the field or stay on the field, I should say, is he's
Kevlar?
very elusive.
Yeah.
So getting a real clean, impactful tackle on him has been tough for just about everybody who's played him. But I do believe this, Trax. If you are the guy that, if you get it, if Montez Sweat comes in clean, unblocked, and puts
Bro.
this kid on the turf, that's probably going to be night for sure.
Or like Pat the designer said something about Kyler Gordon, Spider-Man. He says if he goes off and he clips
Whoa.
him,
we need to pray that guy's playing, man. His injury
Yeah.
looks substantial to
That
me.
hamstring, right? Was it a
Yeah,
hamstring for
yeah,
Kyler?
he crawled off the field, man.
That look
Really?
like that look like the 4-week variety, man. That look like 4 to 6.
Maybe it wasn't Kyler. Maybe it was a different guy. But he was and the other guy that was with him
No, you're
on
right.
the
That
show.
was him. Trax, you were right. That was him.
Oh,
He
was it?
pulled a ham and he crawled off the field, like literally crawled off the field.
No. I'm saying the guy that Pat, the designer, wanted to tee off on Jaden, one of our guys. Maybe it wasn't.
Oh no, it's probably Kyler. He hasn't been ruled out or anything. That's my speculation.
Oh, really?
If he does play in the game, I mean Pat's right. I when I think of this game and I said to you guys, they need to get home. You're gonna have to be creative. It's not just gonna be a 4-man front. I think blitzes will be very important in this game, and
Yeah.
Kyler Gordon is fast enough to get to Jaden Daniels for
Yeah.
sure. You're talking about one of the most athletic players in football. I mean, they call this guy Kyler Man because he's like Spider Man. It's like,
Yeah.
and he was a ballet dancer. I mean,
Yeah.
this dude is light on his feet and he can get where he needs to go quickly. So
Yeah.
yeah, if Kyler's able to play the game, you're gonna see him. You're gonna see him rush Daniels once or twice for sure.
We have to tackle him though when we get there. When we get home, we have to tackle him.
And that's that's the statistic. Me and Dustin were talking on the show, and I completely forgot what the statistic. The Bears
What's that, bro?
have the lowest missed tackle rate in the NFL, and I think it's like 2 point something% of their
5.8. I just said that
Oh,
earlier.
is that what- oh,
5.8.
did you? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. Man.
Tackling is going to be very
Yeah.
critical in this Washington game because if you miss this kid blitzing, that's how those deep shots happen.
Well,
You know
that's
what I
when
mean?
that's when he just takes off too.
Yeah, or
3 sacks. The Ravens got
somebody's running
they got
down the
3
field
sacks
wide
against
open.
them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you have to get home on him, man. You have to hit him, and you have to wrap him up.
I'm gonna look up how many times he got 3 sacks against the Ravens. Obviously, he only went 2 for 2 before he got injured for that long run. He got injured on the run. It was like a 40-something yard run.
The
What do you got?
Ravens game is all but over, guys.
Yeah. What kind of yards are you looking at right there for Lamar, bro?
He's at 260 with 4 touchdowns.
They turned it up.
Oh, jeez.
Lamar
4
Jackson,
touchdowns?
Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff are going to be racing for the MVP this year, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Oh, I already lost that game. Yeah, he's got 143. I got 139. It's over. There
Hey,
goes my second.
that 49ers game looks. I hate to look too far down the road, but that 49ers game looks a lot more winnable now than it did early on in the year, don't it?
Oh, dude, they cannot. I mean, freaking IU just went out for is it the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Year,
gone
yeah.
for the year.
Oh,
ACL.
it was.
And
And
he
then there's
just-
something. And
he
there's
just- they
something
just paid
wrong
him.
with. There's something wrong with what do you call it too? The
Debo.
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 Debo's. Oh man, left and right, bro. Left and right.
The Super
Then everybody's
Bowl
saying
hangover,
that.
man.
Freaking, huh?
The Super Bowl hangover. Usually, that team that loses the Super Bowl, man, they
Bro,
struggle their following year.
I never had a hangover that bad where I lost like 18 guys and they're all freaking starters. You take all the guys off our team, we're not looking good at all, bro. We lost.
No,
every
no,
game.
the Niners need some fortune on their side for sure. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna
That's
say this.
just bad luck or bad fortune. That is crazy, brother.
And
I
that's
will
gonna
say
be
this.
that's gonna be one of them teams that's in the wide receiver market too.
When regardless,
Hey,
of
what's
how
going
they're
on with
playing-
Brisker? Now he's still not cleared the concussion protocol. It's still not out yet. He's still got lingering symptoms or something. They said.
Yeah, remember a year ago, guys. This guy said 3 concussions. Remember a year ago on his second, he missed like I want to say 3 weeks.
Yeah, he did.
Who had 3 concussions? Brisker.
Brisker.
Yeah, this is his third.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the third one.
Oh. That's
Yeah,
as
it's-
many as freaking what you call it did the
Tua.
quarterback down in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tua. He's getting
Yeah.
ready to come back.
Yeah, it's not good, man. Brisker's got to. I mean, I love how aggressive he is, but and how physical he can be, but he's got to stop throwing his body at people the way he is, man. I mean, you got to just.
Special shout out to Moody. I like him swinging big. Bold prediction: Caleb's best game and Jaden's worst. Wow. I hope that's true. That'd be great.
I agree with the Jaden's worst, man. I'm
Well,
telling
for sure, because it's going to be the worst that he's played so far, I believe. Because
you.
that's
Yeah.
what I was going to
Yeah.
say, guys. When you were talking about the Niners, Darius, and how they're playing, making that game more winnable. The one thing that I'll say is this, man, with this Bears defense, I think no matter how the Niners are playing by the time we see them, we're going to be in these games.
Yeah.
I really just don't see the Bears getting like beat up on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the last time that happened, I think was the Chiefs last year against the Bears, and I expected it.
Tampa
I expected
was
it.
bad too.
I expected it then. We hadn't acquired Montez Sweat, but I think the Bears defense is going to keep them in these divisional games and that game with the Niners for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
I'm telling you right now, I'll tell him myself, Sweat was not even on my radar. I said it earlier in the show. I'll say it again. The only Sweat that's been on my radar was Keith, and he don't play football. He makes some panties drop, bro.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, so honestly, I think that's pretty much, well, you know, we got River Street Tavern. Want to give a quick shout out to them, man. They've got really good specials. Go check out Sean Lugo, Kyle's not so successful, not as good looking brother, or Brandon's, I said it wrong. Brandon's not so as good looking as not as successful brother Kyle. He works there too. So go check him out. Go help him out. But no, man, River Street's great, man. They're open Tuesday through Sundays. They're our sponsor. What do you call it? We got so many sponsors out there, man. Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor, even when it's cold out, but now it was 81 today. It's always summertime at Serendipity Ice Cream Parlor. So El Bandito Yankee, man, get you some shots of that tequila. Get some of that in you. And yeah, man, that's what do you call it? Who else are we? We're getting ready to look at a couple more, but we got Set 'em Up Lanes and Avenue 912. They're here in Griffith too. And then man, there's so many. Let me get to the banners and check it out.
And thanks to everybody in the chat too, man, for sure.
Worth Stadium Club, man. Great guys out there, great food, great Sundays. They're always packed in the house, a lot of good stuff. They got a club up there for all the gaming and all that stuff. It's like a gaming cafe. Really good food, man. Really good burgers. Yeah, special shout out in the chat, man. These guys are busy, man. Moody, Bruja, Ant Mass, and they pulled double duty just like you did, Brandon. They're right in here with you through thick and thin, man.
Thanks, guys.
So,
Thanks for hanging out.
yep, we got a few of them. John King Bravo. I wish I could have gave him a shout out earlier. He said Darius is very right. Maybe that's why I didn't click on it. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding.
Nah, it's all good, man.
Don Burr talking about Hutchinson. I tell you what, man, if you ain't Hutch, you ain't much. He had almost 7 sacks, 6.5 sacks before he went out for a season injury, man.
Yeah, did you guys see how much worse that Lions defense is without him?
For sure, bro. For
My
sure.
God.
Yeah.
Yep. God, you guys are awesome, man. You guys, I understand why you guys like Monday night so much. I like this Knowledge Untamed. I hope he comes back in for one of our shows, man. He was doing pretty good. Don Burr, we love the way you troll from Detroit. I don't even know. Guy like Don Burr probably ain't even in the mission. You know what I'm saying? He might not even watch football. He might just be in here trolling Chicago Bear fans. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, let's see what Dennis said. He goes, what's the point prediction for this week? Let's start off with Brandon, man. He does pretty good on these.
Oh, the prediction for the game?
Yeah. What are you going with, bro? You want me to look it up so you can kind of stay around that?
No, not at all. I prefer not to hear it. I'm going to say Bears 27, Commanders 16.
Okay, 27-16. What is that? 43. So you're going on the under because they're it's 44.5. Yep, 44.5, and Chicago's favored by 3. But you were close, bro. You were close. that must mean our defense is more stymied than Washington's. So we're gonna do a better job on Washington. 23-16, you said?
27-16.
27-16. Yeah, 43. So what about you, bro? What about you, Darius?
I like us.
Nice look by the way tonight, man. I love that hat and the jacket and everything. Very
Thank you,
colorful. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you, sir. I like us 35-17. Regardless of who plays quarterback for the Commanders. I think if Jaden plays, I think he throws probably about 3 interceptions. And
Damn.
I don't think he does well against us, man.
Yeah.
Just based on, and mind you, I'm basing this off of the way they play other opponents, right? Because like I said, I watched all the games. Because I really want to see what the fuss is about as far as the hype on Daniels. Because
Did he throw a lot of picks in college or no? Was he as
Not senior year, no.
kind of, but when the thing about Brian Kelly, when he seen Daniels kind of sputtering out of control, he kind of reeled him back. But he didn't allow himself. He didn't allow himself to. He threw games trying to get back into games because their defense was so bad. But normally, what he would do to substitute for the interceptions or the attempt of throwing certain balls, he'd just take off and go.
I think
Because the guy's
it's-
elusive as hell. He's as elusive as anybody that's playing in the NFL. Like he's
I think his
very
senior
slick
year-
when he takes off. But
I think he only had 5 interceptions his senior year. I don't know about his other 3 years, but I think his senior year he kept them down for sure.
yeah, Brian Kelly really, coached him up, and helped him become, pro ready. But like before he makes a bad pass, he just takes off, man. And he's hard to tackle for some reason, man. Even in the league, they've gotten some good shots on him, but a lot of times when these guys send blitzes, they miss, and he makes them pay, man. He makes them pay in a major.
how many attempts does he have per game? Would you say are they running the ball pretty well, or is it mostly passing? Is it?
It's like
30?
around 8, I think. He doesn't run. I don't
No. I'm saying how many carries does the offense have, and how many attempts does Jaden have during the game passing?
I think he is.
Eight
Passing.
Eight as far as rushing. 8 is a safe number. Like I didn't count that when I was.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm looking
Oh.
at rushing for the
Passing.
entire team.
Oh, rushing for the entire team. Oh,
They're pretty
they want to run the
balanced.
ball,
They're pretty
but
balanced.
they're primarily they are a pass heavy system, but they do run it because, like I said, that guy Robinson, he's a beast, man.
So is he more? Are they more like around 20, 30 passes per game, or is it a little more?
Yeah,
than
it's
that?
up there. It's up there, but
30,
it depends.
Their
It
last
depends
game
on-
they had 37 carries to 25 passes.
Like it depends on
What about the Ravens game? Can you go back and look at the Ravens?
Oh, that
I
game
feel
was
like that might be a little different and slanted because Mariota. You know what I'm saying, boys?
But no, Mariota came in versus the Panthers.
Right. I'm saying the Ravens game. I'd like to look at that. That's more
Yeah.
of a true tale
Yeah.
of the tape as to what we'd be looking at because our defense is similar to Ravens in that we got a good defense.
18
Man.
carries, 35 passes.
Okay. So right around what I figured, about 20 carries a game and then 30 to 40 passes. Okay. All right.
Yeah, like they're pass heavy, especially if they're trying to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Kingsbury, he's gonna dial them up, man. And
That's yep.
the
Look at John just said John King Bravo, bro.
ammonia
John-
infection. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, right. That's a lot to swallow. The JKS, we'll go with that. Debo Samuel has pneumonia, infection in his throat, not going to be better for a few weeks. It's going to take some time to heal from that. Damn, a few weeks.
Yeah.
That's rough, man. I don't like pneumonia, but I've never had it to where it was a few weeks. Thanks,
Hey,
John, man. Thanks for joining the show. I think this is the first time I've seen you in here or at least comment. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Everybody, please be a friend, tell a friend. Y'all know what to do. Leave a 5-star review. We really appreciate you guys tonight. You guys are very active, got a lot of good information. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I think we got the smartest, except for Don Burr, because he ain't a Bear fan. I don't know why the hell he shows up. But we got the smartest viewers, the smartest fan base in all of 32 teams. I really stand behind that.
Yeah. The important thing against this Washington team, man, we have to tackle well, and when we get home, we got to make them pay, man.
What about all these tight ends that are out, man? It's crazy. Like, all these tight ends are out. Like, this guy, John, JKS, he just brought up Kittle's out with an ankle injury. He's day-to-day. This going to linger all year. I mean, like, dude, is this just me, or do I feel like there's a lot of tight ends out around the league this year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're just banged. There's a lot of guys banged up all together, man. Like my fantasy team is taking a hit as well, man.
Damn.
Like, Jesus Christ, like, come on,
Travis
man.
Goddard's out. TJ
Brandon, is our backup tight end back from the Chargers? Is he back?
Yeah, Gerald Everett.
Yeah.
This guy remembers all the names. That's why we got to keep him.
And the funny thing about the 49ers situation, they had just got Pearsall back this week.
What's that?
They just got Ricky Pearsall back. The rookie.
Pearsall. Did his dad play in the NFL, or am I thinking of a different similar name to that?
I've heard of a Pearsall in the past.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Ricky Prohl. I'm showing my age again, damn it.
Yeah, but Pearsall just, I think his first action was last week. And for them to lose, you know, these other two guys and, you know, chance of losing Kittle, that's rough. That's going to be rough on Purdy, man.
Yeah, that's
and
definitely
because, you know,
rough.
McCaffrey's not back.
Guys,
Yeah,
I want to go on a limb
destroyed.
really quick, and I just want to say 31-17 Bears. 31-17 Bears.
Nice.
I think we're going to see Daniels throw 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, so kind of piggybacking off with Darius. I do think that he gets about 250, 275 yards, so he's not going to eclipse 300. He's definitely not going to be running much, but he can scamper, maybe get like a 20 yards on the game, but he's just going to be like tuck and run out of bounds type little stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to seeing these running backs you guys have been bragging about. I got Eckler as a backup on my bench for fantasy. Eckler was a Charger, so I always keep a good look on him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I'm excited about this game, man. I'll be honest with you. Minnesota and Washington were probably 2 teams, and Carolina Panthers, 3 teams that I did not give one damn about this season at all.
And from a defensive standpoint, the Washington Commanders, listen, Bobby Wagner was a great middle linebacker, but he's seen better days.
Legion of Boom.
Yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer and all that, but he's seen better days. Now, I'm going to tell you, the corner, they have a corner over there, number 25, St. Juice. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. This guy has the worst look because he's in the right spots a lot of times, but these guys still make plays on him, man. It's amazing.
Thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I agree, man. And you know what? You got to watch out for those playmakers. How is the defense being able to keep up with those big losses in Sweat and the other guy that you know what's funny is all of the Bears fans, we actually wanted the other guy,
Chase Young.
Chase Young, yeah, Chase. There's another name, man, name dropper. Chase Young and freaking Sweat, man, like right there. If we took Sweat off our team and we took Booker, okay, we'll just go with that off our team. Where would we be at, bro? We'd be terrified. How is Washington staying in games, man?
Because they're able to put up points.
What's that?
They're able to put up points. They're able to put up points, man. Listen, man, they're able to put up points. They get the offense that they run. They put their kicker in position to be successful. Now let's not discount Dan Quinn. Though they don't have a bunch of names. They're a young squad over there on defense, with the exception of Bobby Wagner. But they play hard for him.
Darius, you know more about Washington than you do Atlanta, and you live in Atlanta. What's up, dude?
That's not. I know them too, but I'm just I watched the Washington games as of late. You know what I mean?
Bro.
As of the last maybe 3 or 4 days, I've watched.
Bro, I got a new nickname for you, Darius. It's a silent assassin. Every time you get on, man, you bring a little extra that I didn't even know you had, man. You got a deep bag of tricks, bro. Deep bag of tricks.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I watched those games, man, and they like us. They got a young, hungry group over there, and they play hard as hell for Dan Quinn. But
For
man,
sure.
those guys take some bad angles on the football, bro.
Yeah.
They blitz heavy too. They're very blitz heavy, but they take some bad angles on the football, man. And
Right.
they allow some big plays. Jesus Christ. Listen, they had Devin Singletary looking like Saquon Barkley, man. I swear to God. I swear to
Hey,
God,
listen.
man.
Listen, I got to get off here. Brandon and I got to wrap for a little bit. I got to show him some stuff on the controls. He's going to be taking over on Monday nights. Just a new look. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. We like to, we like to switch it up and share, share it all and all that good stuff. So Brandon's going to take over on Monday nights. Unless I come in, then, I got to. But, hey, I want to give everybody special shout out and praise, man. Thank you guys so much. I'm about to put this up right now, and rightfully so. Boom! 1,000 subscribers. Let's go.
Woo!
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
guys so much for riding with us, man, especially on YouTube, man. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for hitting that like. Thank you for commenting, man. And I'm so happy that we're on our 1,000 subscribers. That gives us so much extra stuff we can work with and all of that. I just want to thank you guys really quickly for everything. This is a very happy day for me, man. I really wish we could have an actual party for this. That's how happy I am, man. So thank you guys so much for being with us and riding with us. And man, it's in 2 years is just a quick turnaround. I'm watching 4 stars, man. It won't be long before they're 1,000 subscribers, man. But again, thank you guys so much, man. Each and every one of you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification bell. So every time we drop fresh, hot, new information, or we're live at a sports venue, whatever, with all the Chicago Bear alumni and the stars and whatnot, and other stars from other sports, Chicago sports, man. Thanks again so much, guys. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Very thankful, very grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. All right, guys. So we're gonna check out right now, and you guys have a good night. And that will conclude our show. And we've got another show Tuesday through Friday. So just check us out around 8:30 or so, and have a good night.
Peace.
Later, guys.